lead off the inning. We'll get a pinch runner down there, the fist bump.
In case you missed it,
on who the pinch runner is going to be. It looks like it's going to be
she
Jesse.
flipped them the bird. I'll show you when it happens.
And she will come off to a nice ovation.
Yeah, come off to an right.
Well,
there, right there. Right there. That is the moment when class takes over. Now, there were jokes. There were many variations of edgy comments, jokes, observations. There was the obvious Matt Gaetz reference. For those of you who don't know, Matt Gaetz has recently been in the news for making certain statements about people being ugly inside and out. That's the obvious joke. I don't like those jokes. I don't think it's nice to make fun of people for the way they look. I do think, however, calling someone ugly inside and out when it's not a situation where you're making fun of things that are beyond the control of somebody, and specifically more so when you're talking about someone who conventionally is physically attractive, but because of the loathsome person that they are, they exude ugliness despite what would otherwise be superficial beauty. I avoided that joke. Don't think it's nice to make fun of people for that. Stay classy, San Diego. It's an Anchorman reference where 1 minute and 50 seconds in and we've got our first reference to a movie. Stay classy. Member of government. Role model. Remember when Trump was a bad role model for children because of his mean tweets and he used nasty language and he called people names. Flipping the bird.
To lead off the inning, we'll get a pinch runner down there, the fist bump.
A role model to children everywhere.
Let's
see it one more time.
And she will come off to a nice
children,
ovation.
Be respectful as adults.
Well, not much
handle defeat well and flip the bird. It's just so fun. It's so funny for the announcers. It's par for the course. Imagine if Trump had given someone the bird. Imagine if a Republican had done it. Yeah, I'm sure they'd be laughing and just another day of politics. But I wasn't only showing that to show that it's possible to make the insightful observational remark without resorting to mocking people for the way they look, but because that tweet was picked up by Fox News. I love it. I get random emails, friends, former colleagues, and they say, got a message today, says, "Hey, Viva," someone I used to work with way back in the day. I agree with your message to Representative Linda, what was her name again? Linda Sanchez. And you were picked up in Fox. 2022 congressional baseball game where politics is supposed to be set aside, even though it's one side of the aisle playing the other in I won't say stupid game because it's baseball, in a sports game. Set politics aside. This is the unification of politics. No, flipping the bird, animosity because politics ruins everything, even the annual baseball game. Representative Linda Sanchez flips off Republican lawmakers. By the way, just so everybody's also clear, like, I'm so neurotic, I had to double check multiple times that it was the proper Linda Sanchez before tagging her, because if you improperly tag someone or inaccurately accuse someone of flipping the bird when it's someone else, that can be very embarrassing and compromising to one's integrity of trying to be accurate, especially when making statements about someone else. I say it of people all the time. If you're going to insult someone and you're going to talk trash, make sure that you're right and make sure you know what you're talking about. But let's just briefly get to that article. It's so beautiful. It was all for charity, but tensions were still high during Thursday night's annual congressional baseball game. May I ask a question? How the hell can tensions be high during an annual congressional baseball game, the goal of which is to raise money for charity? How can tensions be high unless you're juvenile, petty babies, Linda Sanchez? Oh, she displayed poor sportsmanship. If it were Trump, they would impeach him. During the 87th game, when she was seen flipping off the Republican dugout during the 6th inning, with the Democrats trailing by 5 runs. They lost by 10. 10-0. After a lead walk-off, Sanchez was pulled for a pinch runner. Okay, I know people's comedic senses are going off here, but while making her way back to the dugout, she looked back at her fellow lawmakers on the opposing side of the aisle before making the offensive gesture. And then we got yada, yada, yada. It is unknown what provoked the emotion from Sanchez, but social media erupted. Let's go. Linda, the T doesn't stand for T-ball. Sanchez gives Republican bench. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. I made Fox News, people. Watching this and reading the article, it's unclear what sparked it. I was telling my kid as we're driving, I can't think, and it's not because I'm high and mighty. I have a very neurotic reason for which I have never flipped anyone the bird. But I told my kid, I've never sincerely flipped anyone the bird. When we were kids with my brother and sister, we used to like make mocking jokes about how you flip the bird. Like, I'll do it with my index finger, but everyone knows like the balloon, and you go and you blow it up, or the typewriter, you go bing. What was the other one? Oh, the Jack in the Box. So when we were kids, we would do that for fun. Never in my life have I sincerely, out of frustration, in order to make someone, to show my anger, flipped anyone the bird. And why? I always take for granted that someone is going to punch me in the face or worse if I do that. Is it flipping the bird? Is it worth instigating a potentially serious escalation of conflict so you could show someone your finger to display your anger? So never. Now I'm thinking, what could they have said to her from the dugout that could have warranted that reaction? Nothing. They could have insulted her in the way Matt Gaetz did. Still wouldn't warrant that. Do you remember back in the day, there was a famous World Cup soccer game, Zidane headbutted someone in the chest and they fell down, and I'm sure it hurt, but I'm sure they exaggerated a little bit. Zidane headbutted the person in the chest. It was his retirement game. He was ejected from the game. He was sobbing in tears because that's how his career ended. And someone said, "Oh, the guy said to Zidane, your sister's a W word, a 5-letter W word." I'm like, okay, that could be offensive. That could be insulting. I don't know why it would be insulting if it's not true. It's just stupid. But that doesn't explain the reaction. It doesn't excuse the reaction. Someone saying something stupid that hurts your feelings is not a justification to flip the bird, to headbutt, to physically assault, period. Oddly enough, this intro is going to segue perfectly into the Alex Jones Week 1 summary. I was listening to it. It's still going on right now. It'll segue perfectly into that when we get there. But why is the middle finger emoji banned from the chat? You suck, YouTube. I can tell you one thing. I didn't ban it. I don't care about the middle finger. I care very little about insults in general. Never have I given the finger to somebody. And in as much as there's anything that could explain why she did it, there's nothing that can justify why she did it. Explaining why people cave into their basic desires is an explanation, not a justification. Anyhow, made it into Fox News. Nice. I think it's the perk of the blue check mark, is that something witty and insightful from a blue check mark, I think it's on the radar. Whereas even if it were 10 times more witty, more intelligent, more insightful from an unverified Twitter account, I think the way these things work is they go through verified accounts to pull for Twitter. Anyhow, still always happy to have my wit and my insight be picked up by the news. Okay, in other words, flipping someone the bird might cause them to tweak your beak. I take for granted there are people are stronger than me. People are angrier than me. And why start a fight that you might lose for no damn good reason? You start a fight, you better have a damn good reason to do it, and you better make sure it's the last resort, and you better make sure that you're pretty certain you're going to win that fight. Fighting over parking spots, not worth getting assaulted for. Flipping the bird is reserved for lane changes. No, because people drive with guns. And there's a thing called road rage, where even if they don't have a gun, they ram your car. They pull you out of your car. It's never, period. Although maybe that was meant as a joke. Thomas Caldwell, expecting sportsmanship from the left is like expecting table manners from a coyote. That's this. Coyotes are very smart. They're canine animals. I'm convinced they could be domesticated, or at the very least, they could be conditioned to have a mutually beneficial symbiotic relationship with humans. Pure hair mafa. Okay, man, I'm not pure hair mafa. I don't know if that was a typo. Thank you for the super chat.